How do you have a lopsided 7-game series? I present to you the 2016 series between the St. Louis Blues and the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars came into this series with home ice advantage. 50, 23, and 9 overall during the regular season. They scored the most goals in the NHL with 267. Their goals against, 230, which was 19th. On the St. Louis side of things, they were 49, 24, and 9, so very close to Dallas overall. 224 goals scored, which was 15th. 201 allowed, which was 4th. Does a good defense beat a good offense? Usually. Does best goaltending usually win? That's usually the case. Now, St. Louis was coming off of an emotional 7-game series that they had won against the Chicago Blackhawks, and they would go on to lose in a really good Western Conference final against San Jose in 6. For Dallas, they had not too tough of a time with the Minnesota Wild, to be honest, in a 7-game series that Dallas had won between the current Stars and the team that plays where they used to play, Minnesota. So, game 1 at home, Dallas. First period, no scoring. Second period, Antoine Roussel opens up the scoring for Dallas from Foxa and Klingberg at 9:36. So, after the second period, it's 1-0 for Dallas. Now, St. Louis would tie it. Shattenkirk scores from Parayko and Berglund at 11:32, but Radek Foxa, one of my favorite Dallas Stars, scores from Hemsky and Goligoski at 15:16, and Dallas wins the game 2-1. Elliott, great game for him, 40 saves on 42 shots. Lettinen played well, 31 saves on 32 shots, but I still felt like we'll see how the goaltending goes. And then in game 2, we saw how it went. Goligoski scores from Ben and Eakin at 3:36, so early it's Dallas' game, but not for long. At 4:11, Berglund ties it from Fabry and Backus, and then Edmondson scores from Brouwer and Upshall at 7:02. And then it's a power play goal from Brouwer, Shattenkirk and Fabry with the assists at 18:40. So Dallas takes Lettinen out of the net and goes, Niemi, you're in. Second period, no scoring. Third period, Dallas comes back. First, it's Janmark from Eakin and Sevier at 4:35. And then it's Ben from Eakin and Russell at 17:24. We go to overtime. On the power play, the St. Louis Blues tie the series. It's Backus from Steen and Shattenkirk at 10:58. Elliott saves 31 out of 34 in the victory. On the losing side, Lettinen saved 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. And then Niemi saved 19 out of 20. Remember coming out of that game, Dallas said, well, we have faith in Niemi from here. Niemi's our guy from here. All right, we're good. Lettinen had a bad game. We're going to go with Niemi from here. Guess how long that lasts? Yeah. Game 3. Sevier scores early from Spets and Oduya in St. Louis. They get the 1-0 lead. That is the end of the happy times if you're a Dallas fan in this game. Steen would score from Stastny and Brouwer at 5 minutes and 41 seconds to tie it up. And then it's a power play goal. It's Backus from Shattenkirk and Tarasenko at 16:10. Then in the second period, Brouwer scores from Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo at 2:34. And after allowing 3 goals on 12 shots, Niemi, you can hit the showers. You're done for the night. And to welcome Lettinen into the net, they score again. Tarasenko from Berglund and Fabry at 3:50. And then it's power play goal. It's Steen from Tarasenko and Schwartz at 18:03. In the third period, late, David Backus, because why not, scores from Gunnarsson at 18:06, and that makes it 6-1 for the St. Louis Blues. Niemi saved 9 out of 12. Lettinen went in and saved 24 out of 27. So they allowed almost 40 shots. Elliott saved 25 out of 26. Absolute complete and total meltdown for Dallas. So game 4. All right, Lettinen's going to be the guy now. No problem. It's gonna be Lettinen, right? Well, Tarasenko scores in the first for the Blues from Schwartz and Gunnarsson at 10 minutes and 17 seconds. Second period, Foxa scores at 4:05, ties it up. And then on the power play, it's Patrick Sharp scoring from Ben and Spets at 5:14. Bet you forgot Sharp was a member of the Dallas Stars at all too, right? Power play goal then by Stastny ties the game up from Tarasenko and Steen at 13:06. Third period, no scoring. We go to overtime for the second time in 4 games, and this time it's Dallas that wins on the road on the power play. Eakin scores from Sharp and Ben at 2:58. Lettinen saves 24 out of 26. Elliott saves 25 out of 28. And I remember after that game feeling like, well, it's the best 2 out of 3 now, and I don't have a whole lot of faith in Dallas. And I remember people saying, hey, you're a Dallas fan. Have some faith. It'll be fine. Lettinen was fine. Yeah, he had a bad game here. Numbers weren't great here. But it'll be fine. So we go to game 5 in Dallas. And Fabry scores from Shattenkirk at 6 minutes. Robbie Fabry had a really good series. Just throwing that out there. Then Goligoski scores from Fiddler and Spezza at 10:58 to tie it up. Second period, at 10 minutes and 31 seconds, Yaskin scores from Bomeister and Upshaw, and then Brower scores from Stastny and Fabry at 17:42. So it's 3-1 St. Louis after 2. Third period, it's an empty netter at Stastny from Schwartz and Backus at 18:20. St. Louis goes to Dallas, takes the 3-2 series lead. Lettinen saves 18 out of 21 in the loss. Elliott saves 27 out of 28 in the victory. And Elliott was solid all the way through this series. So, St. Louis, they're headed home. They have a chance to win it. Elliott has his bad game of the series right here. First period, it's Janmark from Nichushkin at 4:53, and then 20 seconds later, Fiddler scores from Sevier and Russell at 5:13, and then it's Spezza on the power play from Sevier and Ben at 16:49. It's 3-0. Elliott's night's over. Allen goes into the net. Steen scores in the second period from Bortuzzo and Tarasenko at 7:29. And then in the third, they make it close. Berglund scores from Laterra and Backus at 8:59, and I'm left chewing my fingernails for the rest of the game, hoping that Dallas holds on, and they do. Lettinen, 35 saves on 37 shots in the victory. Elliott, 4 saves on 7 shots, and then Allen saves all 7 after he goes in. Only 14 shots managed by the Dallas Stars. So they're outshot 37 to 14, but they win it. They win it 3-2. You take that. You take that and you go, all right, that's fine. Finally, it's going our way. Going into Game 7, I had absolutely zero faith. And I hate to admit it, but there's footage on the channel. There are videos from 4 years ago of me watching the series going, what the hell? So, it was pretty early in this game that I realized it wasn't going to work out for Dallas. And to be honest, I kind of feel bad for Lettinen. Fabry scores on the power play from Brower and Stastny at 5:23. Stastny scores from Brower and Fabry at 18:22. And then 4 seconds before the end of the period, Berglund scores from Laterra and Backus. So at 19:56, it's 3-0, and Lettinen's season is over. In goes Niemi. Second period, Backus scores from Berglund and Parayko at 3:50. So Antoniemi, welcome to the game. And then 4 minutes and 54 seconds left in the second period, Brower scores from Fabry and Stastny at 15:06. They're down 5-0 after 2. Third period, Eves scores from Goligoski and Oduya just to be jerks and ruin the shutout for Elliott at 5:15. And then they pull the goalie because why not? And it leads to a goal. Empty netter by Tarasenko from Schwartz and Shattenkirk at 15:20. So at the very least, maybe Dallas was the team that was the pioneer with pulling the goalie ridiculously early in the third period. And that's your score, 6-1. They were outscored 25-14 over the series. It's similar to Vancouver against Boston, except in this one it's 2 goalies getting shelled. The interesting part to me of this series, and I understand people are going to mention other series from 2016 they may have found more interesting and may have found closer. But to me, what was interesting in this series was they trusted Lettinen, then they didn't. They trusted Niemi, then they didn't. They trusted Lettinen, and then they didn't. And it was that back and forth between the goaltenders. Both goalies, I believe, were making $4.5 million at the time. And it was something that drove Dallas fans nuts, was the idea that Lettinen wasn't quite a number one goaltender. And then Jim Nill said, all right, I'll bring in Antoniemi. So now you had 2 that weren't quite number one goaltenders, and it just didn't work. And you have to look at a couple of these games and say, man, if they'd had goaltending there, who knows what might happen? Because St. Louis had it throughout that series from Brian Elliott. Elliott was fantastic. Jamie Benn had a goal and 4 assists in that series. Goligoski, 2 goals, 2 assists. Sevier only played 5 games and had a goal and 3 assists. There's a reason I love the guy. Big games, he's there. Eakin, a goal and 3 assists. Spezza, a goal and 3 helpers as well. Lettinen was 3-2 with an .891 save percentage. Now, keep in mind that 3-2 includes this game here, where he allowed 3 goals on 5 shots. Niemi went in and actually took the loss, even though Niemi saved 19 out of 20 in that game. Niemi was 0-2 in the series with an .857 save percentage. On the St. Louis side of things, Backus had 4 goals and 4 assists. Brower, 4 goals, 4 assists. Fabry, 2 goals and 6 assists. Stastny, 3 goals, 4 assists. And Tarasenko, 3 goals and 4 helpers for St. Louis as well. Brian Elliott was 4-3 with a .929 save percentage. Very good series for Elliott. Very good series for the St. Louis Blues. And then, of course, they went on to the conference finals and they had their setback. The interesting thing is, too, how many guys, this is only 4 years ago, how many of these guys in the St. Louis lineup just aren't there and were gone? And they really did do a pretty decent teardown and retool of their own along the way without falling too far out of contention. And for Dallas, I don't know, 14 goals in 7 games. This might be where you start talking about, well, their offense was great during the regular season, but where was it during the playoffs? And then after that, they seemed to fix their goaltending, and then their offense kind of slipped. So, yeah, it was a tough playoff for me as a fan of the Stars, but you know what? Full marks to the St. Louis Blues. They could see goaltenders that were shaky, and they took advantage. Sometimes teams don't do that. It can be really frustrating in the playoffs when you can see that the other team's goaltender's fighting the puck, and the team you're cheering for isn't really forcing the issue, and they're not really pressing that goaltender, and then that goaltender finds his confidence, gets his mojo, and then the series turns on you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and watch for some set changes really soon. I'm looking at some of the stuff that's coming and think it might be here tomorrow, but we'll see. Thank you guys so much for everything. I'll talk to you again soon.